Hello and welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. Now before we get into today's video, make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video of ours. So today we're going to be looking at the big game that is taking place on Friday night in the WSL. First versus second, the two top goal scorers in the WSL. That is of course Chelsea versus Manchester City, taking place Friday evening, 7:15 United Kingdom time. Now obviously Chelsea are the team that are top of the table, everyone is trying to catch after being absolutely fantastic throughout the majority of the season on 34 points after their 13 games, and Manchester City just 3 points behind them on 31 off after their 13 games. So looking ahead to this one, Chelsea obviously are wanting to finish as high as possible to send Emma Hayes off to the United States in the perfect way, and obviously they've been absolutely fantastic so far throughout the season, getting to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, getting through to obviously only played the one game so far in the Conti Cup, but reaching the semi-finals there. They're going deep in the FA Cup as well, so it's going very well for them. Now obviously last time out for Chelsea was a FA Cup game against Crystal Palace where they just about won 1-0 with Myra Ramirez scoring that goal. Looking to this one, it'll be a very tough game for Chelsea. They won't have as much as they have had their last two games, you would expect, with how solid Manchester City's defence is going to be. In terms of team news, Lauren James is expected to be okay for this one. According to reports, she's been included in Serena Wiegmann's latest England squad, so there's a hope there that she'll be fit and fine for this one on Friday night. Just a bit of illness what kept her out of the game at the weekend, and everything else should be as it has been for Chelsea over the last couple of weeks. So this is a big game obviously in terms of the teams fighting for the title and being at the very best, and it's going to be hard for Chelsea to try and break down that Manchester City defence because of how strong City have been this season, only conceding the 8 goals in the league so far, where Chelsea have conceded 4 more goals and have the next best defensive record in terms of only conceded 12. But one thing that has gone for Chelsea is they have the more goals than Manchester City so far, so it's going to be a very interesting battle. You see the likes of Ramirez, Lauren James, Guru Wright and Aggie Beever-Jones when she comes off the bench, and how they will go up against Manchester City's defence, the likes of Layla Wahabi, Leia Alexandri, Kirsten Kashbarai, Alex Greenwood. They've all been really solid this season. And then obviously you're looking at Kiara Keaton in goal, who's been superb, one of the best keepers in the game this season. She's been absolutely phenomenal, pulled off some big saves for Manchester City last week against Arsenal in their FA Cup tie. So I'm really intrigued to see how this on the pitch battle goes between the two sides. Flip back to how the first game between the two sides happened earlier on in the season. It was that 1-1 draw back in October, but Chelsea obviously over the last couple of years have had the better of Manchester City, so it's going to be a very tough battle for the two sides, and one I'm very intrigued to see. For Manchester City, they are expected to have Khadija Shaw ready and fit for this one. As far as I'm aware, again, just a little niggle that has been playing at her recently, and it's not something that is expected to ruin her long term for Manchester City. And I think they'll be wanting to have a strong performance, and I think this will definitely give them a good enough stead if they can go on and win this one. Obviously they played Arsenal at the weekend where they won 1-0 in the FA Cup, so it's obviously going to be another tough battle for Manchester City on Friday, and I think it's going to be one that Gareth Taylor's side are really doing well. Obviously the big loss for them this season was Jill Roord with her ACL injury, but they made some January signings, brought in Laura Blinker-Hildebrandt, who came off the bench for the last couple of minutes against Arsenal, and will be hoping to get some more minutes as the season progresses. But I think the midfield battle I'm really excited to see is the likes of Erin Cuthbert, Guru Wright and Yui Hasegawa. I think we're going to have such a good midfield battle between the two sides. I think that's where the games can be won and lost between the two sides. and I think if we can have a clear winner in that midfield battle, then we'll have a clear winner overall in terms of the result itself. So that is the Friday game. Now looking ahead to the rest of the weekend now, and we have the big one on Saturday. So that is Manchester United are playing away at Arsenal at 12:30. It is third versus fourth. Arsenal on a bit of a slippery slope in their last couple of games. Obviously losing to Manchester City in the FA Cup last weekend, losing to West Ham United in the WSL the weekend before that, but they managed to pick up a midweek win this week against London City Lionesses to progress through to the semi-finals of the Conti Cup. So that's a bit of a positive for what has been a tough February so far for Jonas Eidevall's side. Looking into this one, obviously both sides will be hoping that they can get the victory at Arsenal, so they can have any hopes of a potential title race still win and still be in it, whilst Manchester United will be hoping that they can get the victory and close the gap to Arsenal in terms of getting that third and final Champions League spot. I think for Arsenal, what's going to be interesting is how they line up. Obviously, we saw Jonas Eidevall make some changes to how the team played yesterday in their Conti Cup match. You saw Chloe Lacasse come in from the start. You had Stina Blackstenius leading the line. Katie McCabe was obviously back in her fullback position after missing their league game against West Ham due to suspension. So it's going to be interesting how Jonas Eidevall has that lineup looking for this Manchester United game, because it is imperative that he gets it right, because I think if he gets it wrong like he has done over the last couple of games in the league and the FA Cup, then Manchester United definitely have the potential to exploit it. For Manchester United, looking ahead for them, they will have JC available for this one. Jade Riviera isn't expected to be fit for a long time. She had to pull out of the Canada team for the Gold Cup that's taking place later on this month. And for them, they obviously picked up a win in the FA Cup last time out against Southampton, and it was a bit of a needed win for United. They had to rely on Rachel Williams in the second half to get the goals to advance to the quarter-finals, but it is still a good run of form for Manchester United, winning their last three now, and obviously Nikita Paris, her great form is continuing for Mark Skinner, so I think if she continues how she's playing, she will be a real threat for the Arsenal defenders this weekend. So they are the two big games taking place in the WSL this weekend. A look at the rest of the games. All take place on Sunday. You've got Brighton versus Liverpool, Everton, West Ham, Tottenham, Aston Villa and Leicester City versus Bristol City to round off this weekend. So some fantastic games to look forward to. Make sure you are following us on social media for all the latest news and updates from those games. And we'll be back next week to have a look back at the games. And make sure you're following us on any podcast site you get. Just search Women's Football Talk. We had a preview out earlier on this week looking at this weekend's games. So until then, we'll see you soon.